Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Gnome Alone, where there's no mercy for nobody.
Directed by Timothy Woodward Jr., written by Glenn Ennis, starring Verne Troyer, Kerry Knuppe, and Marlon Young, Gnome Alone is about a magical curse that is passed from person to person. It brings the magical protection of a gnome. However, the gnome goes too far and starts killing everybody in his way. What do we like about this movie, guys?
The practical effects were very good in this film.
I agree. You know, the wounds that they got during all their killings was really well done. They stayed on there. They were oozing blood. Very realistic. I liked it. I think the cheesiness was on par for this type of movie that we would expect. They had ridiculous, stupid one-liners.
I like that this catered to the male audience, as we had lots of lesbian scenes.
I did like the intro. The intro that described like all the mythical shit and the passing of this curse was pretty cool. But it did get a lot across without us having to watch a lot of boring shit. And it did have a couple scenes, including like a nice Bill Oberst Jr. cameo. I didn't like that I saw him as like third or fourth build on this movie, and he's in it for about 10 seconds. I like that they made everybody hateable. You hated every single person, so you wish they would die.
I don't even know if there was one character I liked, other than Zoe.
Zoe, probably. I liked Drennan. Drennan was a cool cop. We're really stretching these. Can we just go on to the dislikes now?
Let's talk about our favorite kills.
My favorite kill was one of the thugs from the beginning. As he was kind of walking by a car, Verne Troyer was posted up underneath it, pulls one of them underneath the car, and then guts come out his mouth. I don't know how. But guts came out, and they looked like real guts.
My favorite kill goes out to the very attractive professor. It's when she's running away from Verne, and he cuts both her hands off.
I think it's safe to say that you won't be putting your hands on anyone anytime soon.
My favorite kill is when the gnome kills the police officer. He takes a hook, he hooks it into his leg, then drags him. Now you have to picture tiny little Verne Troyer dragging like a 250-pound man across the room, then hoisting him up, and then slicing off his penis for some reason. Why it was out, he didn't cut the pants or anything.
Right.
But yeah, it was just a funny scene to see the little dude carrying the big dude around. What don't we like about this movie, guys?
Every second shot was a slanted camera, and it was fucking irritating. It was a very difficult movie to watch. You just want to watch it because they're making fun of the genre, and they're self-aware. They know they're making a cheesy movie, but if you shoot it like a douchebag, then it's gonna be a shit movie. So I fucking hated the camera work. And any shot that they tried to make like look a little bit cinematic, they ended up fucking up somehow by twisting the camera around. I've never been so angry at camera work. This was terrible.
Also, what was annoying, they kept the scenes going. What felt like 10 minutes over, they would just stay there and have the characters ranting and talking, and I don't know if they were laughing in the room, so they decided to leave it in, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all.
I think the most notable scene for that was when the cop was in the car eating donuts, leaving a message for Zoe. He's just screaming on the phone, leaving her a message, and it stayed there for, I would say, about a minute and a half for a shot that should have been 10 seconds.
It's the same whenever the gnome killed anyone. It just had him like sitting next to the dead body, looking directly at the camera with a goofy face.
Sticking his tongue out.
Yeah, and laughing, and it's just, it's so annoying.
Verne Troyer's lines, his one-liners. Every time the gnome killed anybody, he had a one-liner. Sometimes he had 2 or 3.
This one's for you, bud.
Well, the first one, if that didn't land, they were hoping that like the second one did, which fell worse.
Don't drink and drive.
And then there was like sometimes a third fucking one-liner for the exact same kill that were all shit.
Run, bitch, run.
I don't think one line that he said was funny.
I think just the writing overall.
Oh yeah.
Let's just start from the top. The story didn't make much sense.
Yep. Nope.
It was boring. It was all over the place. Then the dialogues were just, they weren't delivered well. They weren't written well. Nothing was believable about it. So overall, plot, story, dialogue, anything just didn't work. I would have rathered a shot-for-shot remake of Home Alone with a gnome played by Verne Troyer instead of this movie. Let's give our final thoughts and ratings.
This movie was was terrible. I would say that it's actually probably the worst movie I've ever seen to date. The acting was horrendous. The story was all over the place and shit, but the writing was even worse. I don't know how you even sold this script to anybody. The cinematography was shit. It looked decent at first. By the end of a shot, the camera would be tilted almost 90 degrees. This was just a terrible, terrible movie. And I'm sorry for being so blunt, but I was very disappointed because I thought by the name and having Verne Troyer, I thought this was going to be really cool, and it was garbage. So I'm giving this 0.5 Verne Troyer finger banging some hot blonde broad out of 5.
This is just the worst. It had nothing cohesive, nothing funny. You had some practical effects, I'll give you that. But I can't honestly recommend this to anyone. I don't like watching a movie and actually feeling like my time's been wasted.
And the time to record this and the time that I have to spend editing it, I can't believe I'm gonna edit this shit.
I just wish I left this gnome alone. I got the title now. I give this 0.5 awesome leaps into the pool over the table out of 5.
Words can't describe how bad this was. Like, I can't even think of something right now. Like, in all honesty, I really don't want to be mean, and I really want to find something good about it, other than the fact that we had hot lesbian scenes and some cool practical effects. But really, when it comes down to it, the story fell way too flat. The characters were not good enough to care about. So that being said, I'm going to give this film 0.5 bong loads out of 5.
Take a bong load or something.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video so that we can get our review higher than the Gnome Alone trailer so that nobody is tricked into watching this movie. To stay up to date with everything we do here on Bloodbath and Beyond, please subscribe. We're not usually this cynical, but this really deserved it.